Yeah, well, you said a lot, so
Yes.
I think what you said is very true. But I think if we succeed in making films that tackle issues that are inherent to all of us and that are universal, and this is what films that communicate in a proper way usually do, is that they tackle at its core issues that are universal to regardless what your cultural background is. And so I didn't quite have the same experience with my film in Germany, because I think the issue discussed in our film is very much in the center of discussion anyway in Germany, which is the way of how Germany deals with its minorities, and also the way those mechanisms in communities that are very secluded within themselves.
And did you manage to get those films shown a lot to the community itself? And
yes, in fact we did, and in fact Turkey was the first country who bought the film a day before its world premiere at the Berlinale, which made me very, very happy that it was especially Turkey. And we tried to bring it to the base. We tried to organize screenings with NGOs. We tried to organize to bring it to certain cinemas in certain areas of Berlin where maybe people go to a cinema that usually wouldn't go to a German film or German-Turkish film, and we were quite successful in doing so. So I couldn't really complain about the fact that people wouldn't go and see films with those issues. But
and I'm interested to whether our distinguished politicians to my left here, perhaps we could start with you, Doris, what your reflections are on what I was saying, or any aspect of what I was saying.
You said a lot, so as Fea said. So I want only to tackle on one point. The subjects you choose are subjects which are in common of our society and which are very close to our work in the parliament. We have to work on a lot of legislation which is very close to what is shown sometimes in these films. So if you would say this, nobody would go to the film, it's clear. But anyway, I think via film, and therefore we have created the LUX Prize, and we are helping with the media program to make a lot of creators working, giving them the money to be creative. I think why we are doing this is because you said that with these films we can tackle subjects which have to be solved, which are close to us, which have to be understood. And the problem is, that is a little bit a shame, that these films are not seen by those who need it to see this. And therefore, together with Wim Wenders, we had a meeting, and he gave us the idea to stimulate cinema in schools. That the curricula in schools should include more, or at least cinema, because if we want to reach people, we can do it via film. And I think a film like yours or yours, I did not yet see yours, but I hope it will be the same thing. It can create a lot of understanding, even in those in the soul of people who have parents who are still looking backwards, or who have a nationalistic background, or they fear the immigrants or whatever. We know all this. So I think if we can do anything or something more, we should create, the interest in the national governments to put cinema on the curricula in the different schools. It is very important, and I hope that we can manage this. And we have just in October a hearing on cinema, and we have invited Wim Wenders and others to be with us, and the result of this hearing will be promoted and will go to the different countries. I hope that they will listen to us, because as everybody should know, in culture as in education, we cannot do what we want. We have to respect the subsidiarity, which means education, culture are national or regional subjects, and we can only do things which give a plus, a European plus. So this is why we cannot act as I wanted to act, but anyway, I think we are tough enough to give the incentives to those who should work at this. Thank you.
I'm so happy to be here, because it's a very interesting meeting inside the big festival. And I say before that is not a little initiative, is a symbolic, but not a little initiative, because LUX Award is a tentative of Parliament, European Parliament and European institution, to help open a direct dialogue with the new generation, creative new generation, with but also to impulse and support industries, cultural and creative industries, to involve and to add more, help more, new initiatives in this on this field, to oblige every of our parliamentarian, European parliamentarian, to see, because we are involved also. We had a commitment to see the finalists and to decide also like a very large jury, because we are more than 700 persons of 27 countries that will reflect on your creation and your work. And I imagine that in this moment, in this period, tomorrow is 11th of September. It is very interesting symbolically that we are discussing about dialogue, intercultural dialogue, on the items, even at the personal level of relationships, and on problems, but in a human way. And we are giving a face to the different person, not only migrants, minorities, but restituire, back, to give back an identity to a person. Now is the big crisis of convivenza, to live together for the humanity. And I imagine that to tell a story, to interpret the feelings and the difficulties and these multiple identities that we have, as you say, is a way to contribute in a different but very, very important way to our commitment, like parliamentarians, to create a new era of multicultural, multi-religion dialogue, and possibility to have to respect the subsidiarity, like Doris Pach said, the original and the diversity, the cultural diversity, but in a new freedom and new humanistic approach to the problem of the contemporaneity. And so I imagine that this LUX award has to be impulsed to, we have to commit ourselves on our countries. I'm so glad that for the second time Venice Festival now hosts this initiative, but also in any festival at a local level looks maybe a new experience that can learn and can teach many things, even to the big producers and industries, to have just a look on feelings, sensibility, and also creativity of young authors, young directors.